Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A new episode of The World Today. In fact, we are going to tackle a few headlines published on our national websites, and we are going to have also a look on the most recent events taking place in Egypt. Just a few minutes ago, we were listening to the statement released by the Ministry of the Interior regarding the current situation in Egypt, and we are very much delighted to have with us here live in the studio Dr. محمد Abdalhalim. I'm sorry first, sir, for the delay, but as I said, we don't have much time because this very important statement released by the Ministry of the Interior regarding the current situation, it included also the terrorists who were arrested by the police or the security forces, and they were explaining how they were already included the missions they were assigned to do and such stuff. First, how do you see this? I mean, is it the mission of the security forces not only to arrest them, but to tell the people through the media how they arrested them, how those people were, some of them brainwashed, I should say so. Who should I consider as victims and who are real terrorists or criminals? Would you please give me your vision regarding this issue?
Well, I mean, to begin with, I would like to say that this is part and parcel of the universal agenda of terrorist acts and of terrorism on a large scale, actually, that we have had a large number of talks about it, actually. But I'd like to concentrate and to highlight the fact that all these atrocities and all these crimes on the part of all these bandit group that I would like to say that the Muslim Brotherhood would seem to be quite initiating its own criminal actions and terrorist as well as massacre death account, actually, on a large scale. And today's situation is the highest consummation of almost all the attempts of all those people, actually, to put an end for a large number of innocent lives of a large number of people. And I would like to draw the attention, actually, for all our own viewers to one main fundamental fact. This crucial issue and these crucial and very much sensitive, hypersensitive moments in the life of Egypt would need and would necessitate on a large scale our own unification on a large scale. We should be enlightened. We should be quite aware, actually, of the hidden agenda of almost all these taciturn as well as very much criminal attempts on the part of all those people, actually, to try to devastate on a large scale the lives of all those innocent people.
Amen to that, sir. But would you please, I'd like here to focus on one point, whether I should say that the terrorist brotherhood organization is totally responsible for what's going on. I mean, the terrorists are here, all included under their umbrella, or I should also include intelligence agencies from other countries, for, the conspiracy, and we should confess that there are conspiracies when it comes to Egypt, to its economy, security, stability, people, you name it. Should I have this bundle of conspiracies blended together and ending in what we are facing right now, or should I just blame the terrorist brotherhood organization who were working under the darkness, I should say, for more than 80 years now?
Well, I mean, they are only as ways and means. They are just simple rules and tools, actually, to be manipulated and to be used, actually. The sort of the process of the brainwashing of all those youngsters, of all those young students in universities, actually. The international group and the international conspiracies, actually, internally and externally, actually, would work together just by way of demolishing, as I've just said before, the infrastructure of the, our own Egyptian land, using and utilizing almost every conceivable possible way at hand. And I'd like to draw the attention for all the viewers that Muslim Brotherhood, the band and the terrorist group, actually, is just one little link of the chain. They are using them, actually, by brainwashing them, by extensively as well as massively paying them terrible as well as massive amounts of money. And I'd like to draw the attention, actually, of almost every single individual citizen here in Egypt. We would have to be very much careful. I would like to underline the fact that all those terrorist acts at the end of the day would come to no avail, would come to nothing. But our own unification, actually, our own decision that should be unified at the moment, should be highlighted, should be clarified, actually. And this is one of the simple facts that we would have to be very much careful of.
And we should also confess that we are fighting in so many directions, as
Absolutely,
we do
yes.
have a lot of enemies coming from
Without
inside
and
and
within,
outside.
I would say.
Yes. Let me take you to Al-Ahram online, where we read Egypt does not have the luxury postponing economic reform. These were the statements said by Prime Minister Engineer Sharif Ismail in his press conference on Friday. Egyptian Prime Minister Engineer Sharif Ismail said on Friday that Egypt did not have the luxury of postponing urgent economic reform. Speaking a day after the country liberalized, not floated. I hope that all our colleagues, whether in Al-Ahram Online or in any of the other websites, to be that careful in choosing the words. We liberalize, not floating our currency, and increase the prices of subsidized fuel. Sir, I'm not an expert to know the difference, but I trust the experts who knew the difference, and this is, I think, the difference between me and others. Regarding the timing of increasing the prices of fuel, right after this, how do you see the timing? I'm not here speaking about whether it's right or wrong, just the timing.
Well, of course, it's a word that is rightly said and aptly done, as you might have said rightly at the moment. The fact that it's a sort of liberalizing our own currency. And it's a sort of decision, I would say, that should have been taken a bit earlier. And it's the right situation right now, actually, to do that sort of thing, because, I mean, since about 3 or 4 months, we are passing through what you might call tribulations and very much crucial issues concerning our own currency. And that would give the opportunity and would give a suitable chance, actually, for the other people to interfere here, there, and everywhere, just by way of utilizing the economic instability, actually. That's why Sharif Ismail, the Prime Minister, is quite right in liberalizing, in deciding, actually, not floating our own currency, our own Egyptian pound, but of monitoring, of stabilizing, actually, of channeling our own Egyptian pound within its own right direction, with its own straightforward road. That step is a bit late. But actually, all I can really say is that it's the right time and the right place on the part of the right man and the right decision to be taken, particularly the maximization of the prices of oil and of petroleum, actually. Now, I would really endorse the fact that, you know, the alternative would seem to be quite very much disastrous. All these trifling and very much...
The Egyptian citizen is going to have, or to make a connection or a correlation between what Tariq Amir, the CBE governor, said yesterday and what happened by Tariq al-Mullah, Minister of Petroleum, just a few hours right after that. They are going to say, oh, this means that this liberalization, which should benefit us, it's going to work not for our best interests. It's going to result into hikes of prices, and we are going to suffer more. And those who are going to suffer are those whom the government is saying that they are just taking care of that much, the low-income brackets. Would you please elaborate?
Well, I mean, the maximization of the prices, actually, of all these merchandise items, I would say, is nothing, actually, when compared with what's happening in other countries, in Lebanon, in Syria, actually, in Yemen. I would like to draw the attention of all the Egyptians, actually, be very much careful that you are passing through a very much crucial, as well as very much sensitive and hypersensitive era, actually, of the Egyptian life, of the Egyptian future. So please, for you, this is my own inducing voice. This is my own invitation on the part of myself, as well as on the part of all those people who seem to be in the know, that be very much careful, that no matter
Let me put my question in other words. Many, even analysts, not only the simple Egyptians or the layman in the street, are comparing what's going on or what's happened yesterday with the 1977 issue or the 1977 policy of late President Anwar Sadat. True or false?
Far from being so, actually.
Okay.
Difference in time, difference in history, difference in the political leadership, actually, difference, actually, that will arise, actually, from the prices between here and there, between now and then. During the late 1977, the situation was a bit simple, actually. The currency of Egypt was a bit high at the time, was very much stable, and Egypt at that early stage, actually, was not to be very much menaced, was not very much threatened here, there, and everywhere by, as you might have said, the conspiracies. But But the fact remains that nowadays Egypt is very much besieged by a large number of very much disastrous conspiracies here, there, and everywhere. The sort of the thing that would initiate us, actually, would invite us to be very much aware that no matter how maximized our own, sort of currency may be, it's one way, actually, of pacing and controlling the border market of the parallel market.
Yeah.
And in addition to this fact, actually, it will put an end for the mania of the prices of almost everything that's being distributed here in Egypt. So I think that everything will be normalized, will be liberalized, and will be very much considered and very much channeled within its own direction. So again and again and again, I would indicate the fact that it's in the interests of the Egyptian citizens, actually, and we'd have to be quite aware of the sort of, as you might have said at the very beginning, of the conspiracies, of the threatening voices, actually, from within and from without. Would you please actually pay the attention of almost all the people to one main fundamental fact, which is the threatening voice is very much crucial. And as such, actually, we would have to be very much considering the fact that no matter maximization and the sort of the prices that would seem to be, it would seem to be a bit better, 1,000 times better, rather than the alternative. That would seem to be dark, that would seem to be quite ambiguous, if not very much mysterious, I would say.
Egypt is not a small country. Unfortunately, our destiny or our fate that we are the big sis when it comes to the Middle East, when it comes to the Arab world. So the Daily Star, for example, is saying that Libya needs new peace-stoked crisis group. This came as our foreign minister met with Al-Mishbari, the vice president of the Presidential Council of Libya, as the Libyan official hailed that much the Egyptian efforts to afford reconciliation atmosphere, I may say, among the Libyan factions to reach a one word or to reach unity and to work for the best interest of their nation. Sir, as I said, we are working and we are fighting in so many directions. The security of Libya is part of our national security.
It is.
So how do you see the work of the cabinet in general? When it comes to economy, when it comes to foreign affairs, diplomacy, when it comes to security and security personnel, I mean, if it is the Minister of the Interior or the Ministry of Defense. In just a few words, what's your evaluation of the performance of this cabinet?
Well, despite the allegations that there is a sort of hatred and sort of enmity nowadays between the Egyptian side on one side, as much as on the Libyan side on the other, as represented by Haftar, this is far from being true. The fact that every now and again, every now and then actually, Lieutenant General Haftar is representing and endorsing the sort of the safety and the security and the solidarity actually between both countries. The border lines of both Libya on the one hand, as well as Egypt on the other, would endorse every now and again that we are so very much unified. And the first instance during the course of a couple of weeks, Lieutenant General Haftar would endorse the fact that he's very much willing and very much happy actually to provide Egypt with any sort of shortage actually of oil, of petroleum. Yeah. And this will fill the gap actually. So my declaration here from this constitution actually, the fact that we are very much unified and very much tied to one another. There is more than one thing in common actually between ourselves as Egyptian citizens as much as the Libyan citizens on the other. And even on with respect to the political leadership actually, we are more than being unified. We are more than being one nation, sharing the self-same interests, self-same threats as Daesh groups attacking the border lines, unifying our own interests and aims to put an end for terrorism at the end of the day.
I should apologize once again, Dr. Abdulhalim, as unfortunately we are running out of time, but when it comes to the statement released by our Ministry of the Interior, we should have it on air to tell the whole world to be accurate what we are doing and what's our position fighting terrorism. Yeah. Sir, thank you very much for being with us. Thank you very much for your input.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Well, by this we come to the end of this very short episode of The World Today. Tomorrow is another day with another crew. Till we meet again, thanks for watching.